Well, it's been a while. I do apologise, but things have been progressing, possibly slightly slowly in the workshop. Mike's 544 is pretty much ready to go now. We are just waiting for the Speedo cable to arrive from our guys in Wales, Speedy Cables. This is because he's got a Smith's Speedo head, and of course the M40 gearbox at the bottom. Why am I replacing this at all? It's because this was sitting on the exhaust, and since certainly the primary, and maybe both, trip meter inputs come from the gearbox. So therefore I didn't really want to send them out knowing that this had a little bit of doubt over it. So I've got 2 of those coming for him that we've had specially made. Once that's in, then Emma can start putting some miles on the car. What do we think? So Mike had said that at speed on the rough, he wasn't happy with the front suspension. I have a feeling that the vibration was actually the fractured alternator bracket coming through, because we've had a very close inspection of all his front suspension and everything looks just tickety-boo. And Mike had been on top of the greasing as well, so it was all beautifully greased up. There's nothing there that gave me doubt or suspicion. But we've got to go out and test drive it and see what we make of it. So that's it, that's turned around. So that was from the Sahara. Do we know what his next event is, Emma? No, we don't at the moment. So he's almost off the ramps. That should arrive tomorrow, probably. Then we took the opportunity to sling Amy's 142 on the ramps whilst we were waiting for that cable. So we now have the engine all installed, new M40 gearbox, fresh prop shaft, and I'm ready to fire this up actually. So in the next couple of days we shall fire up the 142, which will be a blessed relief to have her back on the road. And then there's some other upgrades that Amy has requested, things like a much larger screen wash bottle. So I'm hoping perhaps we can use something like a 164 screen wash bottle up here on the inner wing. So that sort of thing, and a couple of other small issues that she had noted down during her last event. So that's really exciting. I'm really looking forward to this coming back on the road. Now I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before, but just so you can delight at this, this is a genuine Volvo aluminium bonnet. It's so light, it's just gorgeous. Isn't that lovely? Sorry, one of my prides, that is, one of my prides. And what else has been going on? So we created that M41 J-type box out of an M41D plus a J-type main shaft. That was quite fun. The 444 is continuing its work as our reliable winter hack when I've got the V70, so I'm heading off to Cheshire this weekend. So I'll take the V70 because the diesel's so economical. Leaves Emma with the 444 to get around the countryside whilst I'm away. Gorgeous car. It's just so practical. So, and it's for sale, by the way. It is for sale. Left-hand drive, of course. So if anyone's interested, do call us, because yeah, we're only using it because it's here. We don't really need this number of our own cars. Having got a 544 and an Amazon and a 140, I can live without having a 444. But it is a massively practical car with that superb engine in it. And what else has been going on then? Well, the excitement, of course, was Richard getting the first production batch of 140 shock absorber Lower Wishbones to us. and I've assembled some to send out to Germany for Skandix, who are stocking them, and Brookhouse, who also stock them, and all assembled beautifully. Very pleased with that. And of course, they're currently on Amy's rally car whilst we continue to keep an eye on their performance. But in theory, stronger, lighter, and they don't have, or they have less potential to fail around the shock absorber captive nuts, which of course a hard-driven 140 will always fail. These will fatigue out. So we've got a thicker plate here to try and avoid that. So that was one of the exciting things. And then having spent 2 years creating that, it must be over 2 years now, isn't it, Emma? Ridiculous lead time on trying to get those right. On the opposite side of the equation is the PV544 latches. So PV544 latches, it was a week from me first thinking about it to getting the first prototype through, and then another 10 days after that we got the production items through. So I've TIG welded, so what it is, it's 2 components, the center boss and the latch, press them together and then lightly TIG welded together. And this will cure the difficult problem of PV544 door latches being floppy, and indeed in some instances, like Lorna's side on the 544 over there, where she couldn't actually open the door sometimes because the latch was so loose. So those are now all in production, and I've fitted 2 pairs already, and we've sent out a load worldwide. Obviously at 38 grams, they're not going to be expensive to send anywhere in the world. So if you happen to be in New Zealand or the Antipodes, anywhere, equally Americas, they're not going to cost much to send around the world. So that is it. I'm off now tomorrow to Cheshire, competing in Garris Volvo Amazon for the first round of the series, this year's series. I have a suspicion we're not doing the big one in November this year. So we're throwing ourselves a bit at the championship. Although I've got to be away for a few of those events, so it might be a bit difficult. But we'll let you know how that goes on. Thank you very much.